I know I should continue on with the multiple tables, but right now is a great time to look at the update and delete queries. So after this video, we'll get back to the multiple tables. For this tutorial, we're using the database ODB31 query insert. In the last video, we saw how to do an insert query. The update and delete queries work in a similar way. The first thing I'm going to do is insert some records into our employee phone table. We've already seen how the insert works, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at the insert here. We see that it executed okay. I'm going to open the table. And we see we've inserted these employee ID records of 777. Clicking on the employee ID of 777, I'm going over to the auto filter, and when I click that, it's going to show us only the records with the employee ID of 777. These are the records that I just inserted. I want to change the note for this phone number that ends in 999 to say, call this phone number first. I'm going into Tools, SQL, and I've got some SQL here for our update, and we're going to update table employee phone. We're going to set the notes field to say call this number first, where employee ID equals 777 and the phone number equals 213-555-9999. Placing this into our SQL command window. When I execute this, we see it executed successfully. I'll bring back our table. Refreshing that shows us that we added the note, call this number first. The next thing we want to look at is how the wildcard works. I've got an update for that. Update employee phone. Set this phone number ends with 00 where employee ID equals 777 and employee phone number is like. Then we've got our percent symbol for our wildcard and 2 zeros so that it ends with 00. Before we run this query, we might want to do a select with the same where clause. And I'm going to do that right here. Checking the show output of the select, and it shows that we're updating only these two records. Since the where is the part that's going to affect what records are changed, I'm only going to select these top 4 lines to make sure that I use the same where clause. Now when I run this, I'm sure that it only updated those 2 records. Let's check our output file to make sure that that worked. I'm going to refresh this. And we updated those 2 with our wildcard. Now let's update this record that ends with 1234 for the phone number using our single character wildcard. Now I've got my single character wildcard that shows my 14 positions as wildcards, except for position 11 should have a 1, and that will be for this record right here. I'll select all, copy, Control V to paste, and execute that command. Command executed successfully. Refreshing our table shows that our single-digit wildcard updated. There's one more update that I want to do, and that is showing the nulls versus empty field. In this query, we're going to update the employee ID of 777 that ends with 00 to be null for the notes. In this lower query, we're going to update the employee ID of 777 that has a 1 in the 11th position to be empty. And that's done with 2 single quotes right next to each other. Running this, we'll look at the results. And here it's almost impossible to tell if it's nulls or empty. We would have to do a select where null to show what the nulls are, or select where double quotes to see if it's empty. Delete queries work the same way. I've got a delete query here that will delete from table employee phone where employee ID equals 777 and the description equals home phone. We should delete off our home phone record. Clicking execute shows that executed successfully. Let's look at our table. Refresh. And we see now we only have 3 777 employee ID records. To delete off these records, I've got another one that's just going to delete from employee table where employee ID equals 777. Running that deletes them off. Refreshing our table shows all our 777 employee IDs are gone. I'm going to take off this filter by clicking remove filter sort, and we're back to where we started.